Hi everyone, Soul Super 17 reviews like usual, and not only the pictures, made a thumbnail, not paid video. Alright, so I tried working on this before, and for some reason I had no idea why. I just was having something that I thought I wasn't doing right with when I was trying to make this before, so redoing it all over again. And I don't have that much time, so let's just get into this. Last time, basically, we have basically the Shin Megami talked to Cammy about basically having two people to train Naruto / to be his summons that are basically what Death would call upon in Darksiders 2, for ghouls. But these are basically gonna be specific for Naruto to be trained, raised, yada yada yada. Basically, the whole idea just of him just becoming better ninja, and to learn of his basically heritage too. Along with basically one of the people are going to be one of the seven swordsmen, the Mist, which is going to be the one that holds the sewing needle. So, I would say probably almost a month has passed because Cammy, Def have been sort of working on this, some things. And basically, Def wanted to allow Naruto to basically get a good handle on basically how to wield his scythes, and for him basically just try and make his own fighting style with them. So yeah, nearly a month has passed. Naruto and Sakura have been also getting close. Sasuke has also been what's been going on, because Naruto has trying to basically act like a team along with Sakura, but Sasuke is the one that doesn't want to. And Kakashi's been getting frustrated with this because it seems like no matter what he's doing, two of his basically students are trying to be teammates while the other one's basically distant himself. Naruto, though, has asked from Hiruzen to, at least, let's say nearly a month had passed, or basically 2 weeks ago, about if he can find any information on the basically Uzumaki clan. In which I basically would think, since they never covered it, or we don't know if they covered it in basically the academy, so I want to say it wasn't covered, or at least much of basically the Uzumaki clan had all was covered, which Hiruzen would, be wondering why. So we're starting. Just want to say, that he basically has been looking into it, and he has not been happy with what he's found out on the reason why. So, as I said, nearly a month has passed, and we're just going to be starting off after basically after a training session. By the way, Orochimaru did receive a letter from the snake summon that basically Sakura asked Kabuto to send. Yeah, Sakura asked Kabuto to basically send to Orochimaru. And Orochimaru basically has received it and read it. So we'll go to 2 points of views, real quick. But let's just start this part. 3. So, yeah, Naruto has Death, Darksiders 2 version. Yeah. So, we started off with basically Orochimaru's lair. As Orochimaru is basically doing his research and experiments, and his plans to somewhat destroy Konoha. Reasons why he basically thought about it. He goes, since my daughter's there, the only bit of my life that I still have goodness in me before I became what I am, should I really destroy all of Konoha? Maybe. I'll think about it. Still lean on the entire yes. So, this is basically while he's in thoughts and trying to decide when he sees the snake summon. As he basically raises up an eyebrow, as it has basically a letter that, scroll that basically pops out of its mouth. As Orochimaru grabs it and opens it. As he reads it, and he just starts blinking. And blinking. And then he just starts chuckling. And basically, Orochimaru goes like, oh, dear daughter, are you already asking me for basically as a favor of a father? And not just for yourself, but for As then he basically kind of reads over the name again, Naruto Uzumaki. And then he basically just like dawns on him, Kushina and Minato. They had a kid. That self-righteous blonde. Of course he wouldn't basically use anyone else for the stealing besides his own child. I was an idiot to not think of that. I could have... But then he stops and he goes, no. My daughter probably is interested since she's basically even asking of this. From her personality before to now, she was, as Kabuto said, curious about the blonde. And her curiosity led her to try to ask questions. And this is the result of basically those two idiots making the fangirl personality that my daughter has. But since my letter to her, the fangirl seems to accept it. The Namikaze clan. I do not know much, but if I could have a few of my shinobis, I could probably find out about them. There was a rumor that they come from Lightning Country, or near the borders of lightning and fire. What were they, though? As Orochimaru was pondering this, as he basically would, stop his research and, go basically towards the shinobis, and then, go to the shinobis that he basically is going to go for is his guards, because he decided, I must do this myself. Those fools will probably get, if I even send anyone other than my elites, they'll get too greedy and try to take something they shouldn't. For that Namikaze brat, though. Why did my daughter have to basically be curious about him, of all people? There has to be a reason. I mean, it's not like he's more powerful than new Uchiha, right? And then he thinks to himself of that because of Kabuto's information. But somewhere deep down inside of him, he knows basically something's not right. Something's not right because there's a blank in his mind for some reason. As Orochimaru basically all of a sudden, basically starts to grab his head as he basically hears a crack. And then basically all flood of informations happen that we have a flashback for Orochimaru. So, Orochimaru basically, after he found out about his daughter's condition, about there's two personalities now, and basically his daughter's personality is basically not the main one due to the fangirl being the main one. As he's furious. So, he basically decided to take drastic measures. He was going to go to Konoha and to take his daughter by force, but he needed to make sure, though, about that person, about basically the other personality, if it basically can be removed, or basically it's another part of a new soul because of it. So, he did the one thing he never thought he would do. He summoned out the Shimigami, but he basically only found basically the Shikifujin, but was the only one, but he remembered something about Tsunade telling him about the Uzumaki clan had some connection to the Shimigami, and that her grandmother said that they could actually talk to the Shimigami from time to time. So, Orochimaru was never curious about it, but, Jiraiya was, so Tsunade basically told them. As Jiraiya basically said that's basically, that should be impossible to even summon out the Shimigami, and basically, even after showing that he still denied, Orochimaru just didn't think of, it was even going to be useful for him in any point in time. So, he glad though he remembered. So after he done all the basically preparation for the ritual, he summoned the Shimigami, as the Shimigami appears in front of him. As the Shimigami, as the Shimigami would say, Orochimaru. You have never, ever ever basically catch me off guard than this. Infuriated, yes, but off guard, no. What is it that you've summoned me, even though you're not Uzumaki? Which Orochimaru basically actually was on a knee, and basically looking down, he goes, Lord Shimigami, I must ask you a question. Which, basically, Shimigami has no idea what, he basically wants or answers for, so he would ask him, Alright, mortal, tell me. What is it that you want to know? And then he basically, Orochimaru would just gulping and says, I have a daughter, a Kane. She's currently known as Sakura Haruno, but her adopted parents turned her into a fangirl with a seal that my spy Kabuto has found on her due to a accident that basically she was in basically due to some injury at home. Which basically this actually, makes the Shimigami kind of curious. So he basically would summon out his book. As he basically looks through it, and then he sees a Kane, no last name. And basically he would touch the name, as then he gets all basically the information that's what has happened to her. And so, though, he basically looks at Orochimaru and asks, what do you want to know? He goes, the seal. Has it made a new soul within her? And is she any danger because of this new personality that's been placed on her? Which, basically, he would, Orochimaru would not hear the Shimigami for a while, and then he would say, no. It is mental, not an actual soul that you have given her. She is safe. As Orochimaru was sighing relief, as even basically, Shimigami sees that. As basically, though, Orochimaru would just, say thank you, but the Shimigami would ask, why do you care so much? Which Orochimaru would be actually kind of shocked, but then basically actually kind of realize he shouldn't be because of his nature that he's made for himself by now. And lying to this while being of death would not be good for him, so he would just say the truth. He would say, she's the only remaining part of me that's still good. I want to make sure she never becomes like me. I want to make sure basically I could keep that part of me that's still there. That's still a bit of good that I had in me. Never leaves. It's the one thing basically I value most of all in this world. As he basically, would kind of stay quiet for a minute. And then basically Orochimaru would say out of left field for him, because of he basically never thought himself, or even Shimigami, but because of he's never been around her, and some people else have been taking care of her, and because of Danzo, he would say, and I just want to make sure she never has to basically suffer because of me. She is my daughter after all. And he would probably even say I still, and for that I still care for her. So, Shimigami would just not say nothing, and he would just wouldn't, just nod, as for some reason Orochimaru could tell he's nodding. So, the Shimigami would then say this, and I sense you have another question that has basically popped up in basically that mind of yours. As Orochimaru is, silent, he goes, yes, I want to make a deal. Which, Shimigami would ask, a deal? Huh? Which he nods. He goes, what would that deal be? So, he would ask the Shimigami for a seal that would show Kane, or as this case Sakura Haruno, the truth of the situation, and, well, basically that would store his memories, and if the Shinigami would allow it to show basically the truth of what has happened to a Kane / Sakura. In which the Shinigami will approve only on one condition. Basically, he becomes, in case of basically he ever passes on a title of his to someone else. Which this actually made Orochimaru raise up his head and eyes widen. And he basically goes, "What do you mean, Lord Shinigami?" He goes, "A title," the Shinigami would say, "a title I had for far too long. I was never once, well, I would say never once in 1,000 years or so, maybe a century, I was actually called Shinigami until a time period where something has happened, and I was made the Shinigami. But this title was given to me by my brother and sister, and of the High Council. You will only need to know this. It is called the Horseman of Death. That is all." Which, basically, Orochimaru would nod, and he goes, "So what would you ask of me?" He kind of says a little bit afraid, as he basically, sees the Shinigami actually smirking at him. He goes, "Just become, basically, the ally to this Horseman of Death. You will find out when, basically, the name is told. As I will put a seal on, within your memory. So when you basically say or find his name, that's when you'll remember him. Well, not remember him, remember this conversation. Understand me, Orochimaru the Sannin." Which he would nod. And so then Orochimaru asks, "So what would I become? Some servant to him? Informant? Ally? Truly?" He goes, "Yes, an ally. You will help him out in any way possible. Find out about his heritage, his other side of his family if needed, even basically to help grow and to be fair. There are a few souls out there in this world that I would not mind for you to get rid of for him, since the boy will be too, easy on his, too easily influenced by his emotions. At least with you, you will basically be more precise. When that time comes, though, I will come to you and tell you who's your targets. And I will not basically have him hunt you down. You can die of natural causes or in battle. And even if you get a new body, only he will be able to kill you. And I even sweetened the deal a bit for you. Your daughter would never die of any other death besides, it's quite simple, a natural one." Which Orochimaru's eyes widen, and without no hesitation, he basically says, "I accept your offer, Lord Shinigami," as he bowed his head immediately on both. And he's not basically just bowing on his knees, no, he's fully bowing on his head on the ground. As Orochimaru basically does not care if this hurts his pride or whatever. When it comes to his daughter, he, when he found out what has happened to her, he said he'll do anything basically to protect her, as he failed. He won't fail, fail before, because he won't fail this time. So, as Orochimaru basically, accepted it, the Shinigami goes, "Now then, the seal will not hurt you, but it will make you pass out. So, when you remember, you know who it is, who is basically the new Horseman of Death." As flashback ends, as Orochimaru's eyes widen and he basically looks at the name Uzumaki, Naruto Uzumaki, and then he basically has a determined look and he goes, "So, he is the Horseman of Death. Alright. I have to keep my end of the deal. and I cannot basically try to swindle my way out of this. As he basically will literally walk with more basically, well, he really walk with confidence or basically aura of basically, well, the aura basically of a predator that made everyone scared, but this time he's walking with an aura of determination and of basically, well, the one of something of a protection. Reasons why, because the only thought he is saying to himself is, in his mind, saying, I have to do the work of the Shimigami to protect my daughter. So, that is basically why he'll do it. Now, though, with the group, as Kakashi finished up the training session, wait, actually no, let me just go do something real quick, guys. Give me a minute. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, just had to do something I forgot to do. Anyways, though, so yeah. As Kakashi basically finished up the training session, as he's sighing to himself, and he says in his head, he goes, the teamwork of Naruto and Sakura seems to have improved a lot. She's not hitting him, nor she's belittling him. Seems like they keep on getting closer basically every day. As we have Sakura saying, so wait, you basically are telling me after all this time, you basically don't have much of general knowledge? Which Naruto goes like, yeah. I mean, I'm starting to get it slowly, though, due to help, as he would say, basically, to Sakura. As she would just nod, because Naruto would have told her about the QB, and I think I basically told her in the last, I didn't tell her in the last part, but just in case. Sakura probably didn't believe until, well, one day he brought the QB. The QB was the size of Akamaru, well, in Shippuden. Basically. And he basically told her about how they are technically joint connected, so his life is still connected to Naruto's, but Naruto is basically technically has his chakra and everything else since he became Death. So, in a way, the QB is just basically a part of him now. So then Sakura says, wait, does that make you part Biju then? Or Fox? Which Naruto goes, yep, pretty much. I'm technically will already age slowly, though, due to my Nephilim heritage now. And the Biju, technically, technically, Kurama interrupts and says, technically speaking, he was already immortal. Now he's just double immortal. Which, that just makes basically Sakura blink. Which Naruto's like, I don't believe it's true, but it probably is. He just shrugs it off, which Sakura just sighs, and the basically the original, basically Kane would say, it's not really that hard to understand. To be fair, we should have expected this to come since, well, we don't really know much about Nephilims, but since he became Death, he should basically have the Kyuubi no Kitsune be a part of him since it was sealed in him. Separate, but connected. Which fangirl mode would just nod. So, she basically would say, alright, well, then tell me, what are you getting from basically this, fusion? Which basically Cromwell would say, he's basically getting some of my memories slowly and basically my general information that I had while gathering while I was free. And so basically Sakura would nod. But we go back to basically the present as Naruto goes, yep. So, that's why I'm always having trouble basically understanding certain cues and anything really that basically doesn't revolve around what I know, no. In which Sakura goes like, huh. So a lot of times in the academy, he goes, yeah, people generally basically try to sabotage me. Which that just makes Sakura sigh out of annoyance. Which Kakashi, would then look over at Sasuke, who's away from his teammates and not trying to do anything besides, well, thinking about how to kill his brother. In which, basically, Kakashi says, this team needs a lot of work. So, basically, Kakashi will say, alright, team, let's basically end the training session for the day, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a mission. As basically shuns away, as then basically Sasuke will leave. To go train more, basically, as, well, Sakura goes, so, any new things that basically Lord Shimigami told you? Which Naruto wouldn't say no, but Dust did tell him basically that Kami and Shimigami are working on something for me, he would then say. Which Sakura would just nod. And, well, Dust would then land on his shoulder, and then basically Naruto goes, so, let me guess, training still? Dust would just look at him and mentally goes, well, since basically you've been working so hard on basically your training with your Scythes, I think it's time for you basically to try to, train with your other energy source. Don't you think? Which Naruto's just blinking, and then he goes, yeah, but I kind of wish basically I can get some action, and don't I basically need to basically absorb a new skill or something to basically allow me to get some of basically Death's abilities or make them stronger? Which Dust would say, well, yes, that is true. Wait, hold up. Okay. So, as I said, Dust said that is true, as Naruto would say, alright. Which, basically, Naruto would then look at Sakura, so, you want to train extra a bit, or do you want to just go grab something to eat? Which he just looks at him and just sighs and says, my parents want to talk to me. They're probably going to tell me I should be going after the Uchiha more instead of hanging out with you. In which, basically, Naruto just sighs and just says, it sounds like to me your parents are just using you. She would just nod and he goes, I know they are. Kane basically said it would be possible, since my mother keeps on trying to have me go after Uchiha while my dad encourages me to basically try to work on my skills and basically also try to get a boy's attention. He's the only sensible one, technically. What about your biological father? He wants me to get stronger and not be a fangirl, that's easy to say. Which, basically, Naruto would just nod. Okay, give me a minute. Well, as I think I said, Naruto would say, well, that's true. So, well, then, I'll be going. See ya. As Sakura will say goodbye, too. As Naruto heads off, basically, to, Ichiraku's to get something to eat, does basically, what's keep on telling him, so, what do you think of my idea of basically hinging to someone else and get food, besides ramen? As he just sighs and just says, well, this is a ninja village, and I can't basically hen because someone will basically figure it out. Which, basically, looks at him and goes, you know how these villagers are stupid, right? Which Naruto just deadpans and goes, yeah, I know. So, that conversation happens. We have Sakura who goes home, and basically, her mother's not home while her father is. He basically looks at her, he goes, Sakura, you're home. She goes, yep, I'm home. Where's mom? Which, basically, her father looks at her, and then he just a little bit serious. So he goes, oh, your mother's basically at the Hokage's office talking to Hiruzen. Wait, not Hiruzen, Lord Hokage. I basically want to tell you something. She goes, yeah, which basically, original Sakura or AKA Kane, basically says, "Oh boy, here we go." In which he goes, "Your mother thought we should never tell you this, but I thought we would tell you when you became a ninja, and your mother kept on pestering me not to." Which basically she's, "Huh? What do you mean?" He goes, "No." He goes, "Not quick." He just sighs. He goes like, "Okay, this may be hard to believe, but Sakura, me and your mother are not your parents. You're adopted." As basically he would have been sitting on the couch as he basically lifts up a pillow showing a folder as he basically then gives it to Sakura. As when she opens it, it basically says her real name, who her biological father is, and basically and which orphanage she went to. She goes, "Wait, I'm adopted? But what about my..." Which basically he looks at her apologetically and just says, "That's due to your mother and I's decision on sealing away your true personality." Which Sakura basically already knows this, but then she acts angry. She goes, "Wait, my true personality?" He goes, "Yes, you see, your mother basically didn't like how you were so interested in Naruto Uzumaki. Though, I cannot say why, but..." Excuse me. Okay. As I was saying, he basically would say, she did not like it at all, nor did I, due to certain circumstances. But your mother basically knew you would not basically listen and do what you basically want, so she decided to ask someone for help. And, well, she told me about it, which I agreed at the time. In which Sakura basically eyes blinking, even Akane's kind of like being confused. Which basically she goes, "Wait, why would you do that? And why would I be interested in Naruto, baka?" In which he just sighs and just says, "It was due to your biological father, Orochimaru. He was a wonderful ninja. Even basically a mad, well, not a mad scientist, but he became that. And your mother and I thought it would be best that you were not exactly like him. Different. And after finding out about your scores in the academy recently, I kept on letting your mother basically tell me not to tell you because it would ruin our relationship with you, but due to these scores, I may have come to realize on your physical applications that you had, it may have been better off just to not put the seal on you at all. You could have been a better Konoichi and you would have been more prepared to survive out there in the world instead of basically squandering your potential and skill." Which Sakura and Akane eyes widen, and she goes, "So wait, you're telling me I could have been better in the academy?" And he would nod slowly. He goes, "Yes. And now basically I came to realize my mistake, and I put your life in danger because of this. And my selfishness. You may not forgive me, but what I thought at the time was best. I did not want you basically to be basically infatuated or go after the Uchiha boy due to basically his clan status, but your mother, she what?" Sakura asked. As he just sighs, he goes, "Your mother basically wanted you to. I was not her first choice. I was her second. She was my best friend, your mother. But she was after basically one Minato Namikaze. And after so many times trying to get his attention, she failed those times, and basically we ended up being together, but I know she still loves Minato Namikaze a lot, and the way how basically that boy Naruto looks, it's no wonder why she hates him so much. Which Sakura basically goes like, wait, what do you... As I basically blink in, and she basically remembers a picture that her mother basically was looking at. A young boy with spiky blonde hair, blue eyes. Basically, not the same face as, Naruto, but imagine basically Sakura's, well, not Sakura's mother, but the picture basically of a young Minato from the flashback of what Kushina had. Which then, basically, she kind of imagined Naruto, not having the whisker marks, or Minato having the whisker marks. But yeah, whisker marks, as she gasps and covers her mouth and says, wait, Naruto is the fourth Hokage's son? In which, basically, that makes his, eyes blink and surprise, and then he just kind of chuckles. He goes, well, there's that... Well, I would say that brilliant brain of yours, my daughter. In which Sakura goes, but wait, if Naruto was the fourth son, and his skills would, as then basically, she's acting, so her father just sighs again and goes, that would be due to the council and the civilians, and basically some maybe of the shinobis in basically the school. Well, in your basically ninja school. But she basically goes, huh? Which Akane, says to her, her mentor, goes, nice job on the acting. Which she says, thank you. Which she goes, what do you mean? As then he basically look at her with a sad look and just say, he's been having everything tampered with him in his whole entire life. In which that basically would catch Akane and Sakura off guard, and he would just say, stores basically charge him twice the amount, triple, even basically 4 times the amount of money. The Academy probably, got anything basically what he basically even got as a score that was above what they wanted. They probably even marked off a few answers as wrong, even though they were correct, and, over time he became the way he is now and not care for school due to that, and the teachers not helping him. But with the villagers, the glares, the basically help him out when he needs it, treating him basically like he's nothing. That basically can hurt someone mentally. And without having much interactions with certain basically people, or people in general, or at least much of them, kids his own age or such, he probably even lacks some basically social skills to talk to basically people. So Sakura just says, so what does that mean for Naruto? Which he just sighs and just says, this means Naruto basically has been stunted his whole entire life by the village and even of the ninjas. And for the real you, she was basically interested in why everyone hated Naruto, and she kept on asking questions. That's another reason why your mother did not want you basically to know about this. Which Sakura just stays quiet with her head down, and she goes, the reason why you're telling me? In which he just, gets serious and he says in a firm tone, he goes, I am sick and tired of your mother's basically telling you to basically go after your Uchiha, telling you basically you have a great life with him. That boy is nothing but arrogance, and I can already foresee it. Your life will be miserable with him. I want you to go after someone that you truly care about. Which Sakura's, lifts up her head, and she goes, but I basically am in love with, basically, as he would say, you are not in love, Sakura. That seal also basically has another sealed out, but basically keeps on telling you who you are in love with. Which Sakura basically lowers her head down and basically, Kane goes, well, at least he's telling us. Which she would say, yeah, I didn't want to believe it still. guess, which basically, Akane would just say, it's not basically your fault, it's the fault of the seal end. Well, your mother's our adopted mother's encouragement, which she would just nod mentally. So she basically says, so I'm not really in love with Uchiha, with Uchiha Sasuke? Which her father would just say solemnly, no, I'm afraid. You're not truly in love with him. Your mother, I believe, wants you to have the best life, yes. But I think she only thinks you can only be that way within a clan. She is basically changed ever since she's been on the council. Due to probably some of them basically being corrupt, basically people. Which Sakura and Kane just kind of a little bit shocked, and she goes, wait, what? He goes, as basically Sakura's adoptive father would just say, well, she was never basically like this, she basically loved the taste of power. But I can say this. What they do say about when you get a taste of power, you never want it to go away is true. I believe. When Sakura just sighed, goes, so, what am I supposed to do? In which, basically, he looks at her and just says, live your life. He says that with a smile. She goes, but how do I fight the seal for my, basically my feelings towards Sasuke? In which, basically, he smiles when she doesn't add, basically, the kun part, so he basically just says, simple. Find something that you truly care for. Alright? She would nod. So, after that little talk, basically, Sakura would just run upstairs and hide the paper, basically, as she would come downstairs and they would start chatting. So, when Sakura's mother came home, she sighs and she looks at basically her daughter and basically her husband, and she thinks to herself, Am I really making Sakura try to basically get with the Uchiha? Because I want her to be happy, or because I want her to have the life I never had? In which she's kind of thinking about it, as we do technically have her have a flashback of her complaining to Hiruzen about the basically Uzumaki Naruto. As Hiruzen finally had enough, I says, Mrs. Haruno, you not basically think I do not realize the reason why you basically want him off the team so badly. You basically believe him to be the fox, right? Well, be the nine-tailed fox. As she basically would just nod. She goes, he's a demon. And besides, I do not want my daughter basically any more near him at all. So, you basically get the Uchiha stronger, so basically he can basically so he can protect my daughter, or basically I'll take her out of the ninja program. And what she basically still thinks she can, because technically speaking, in any other what if civilian council believe they can do a lot of things that they can't, so Hiruzen just looks at her with a serious look, and he brings out basically a folder, as then he just places it down on on the table. And when she goes, huh? What's this? She goes, oh, this? This is an evaluation of Sasuke Uchiha's mental state. This was done to him in secret. As basically, Hiruzen would say that as Sakura's mother's in shock, and she goes, wait, why? Why did not tell the council was? He basically would say this. Simple. You people believe what you can do, in this village is a lot. You basically have a lot of power. But the fact is, I still hold over power of my ninjas. Not the civilian council, not my two, teammates, nor does Danzo have any power over them. I do. So, I basically asked Inoichi to basically go through Sasuke's mind to elaborate on basically his mental state. And what I found out was quite disturbing. There's even some basic thoughts on your daughter that that I weren't going to tell you about the Uchiha, but as basically she opens up the file, she read on the Uchiha psyche, basically, and how he basically doesn't he despises Sakura and any fangirls, and even Naruto. And she couldn't believe it because it basically states that if Sasuke ever got the chance to leave, he may as basically also just kill Sakura before he leaves. So this actually makes, well, Mrs. Haruno basically shocked. She's, what? Why? As basically Hiruzen told her to flip over the page, as there's a few reasons why. One, she's annoying. Two, basically she's a pain to deal with, and she's loud. Three, she's weak and has no ninja skills. And just, let's say, just a couple more. As she cannot believe the Uchiha, well, Lord Uchiha would want this to happen. As basically Hiruzen will say, I knew Sasuke was a flight risk, but I didn't know how much until now. Kakashi basically needs to try to have him stay here due to basically power, but also due to so we can never have anyone else have him. It'd be a real problem if this happens. So, though, I'll ask you, do you really want your daughter to be near that of all people? Or at least a demon that would never harm her, since he seems to be quite in love with your daughter. As basically Miss Haruno basically thinks about it, and she just sighs in defeat and just nods. So, and that's when we come back to that flashback ending. She sighs, and she basically would just decide to basically go for her husband's plan. But knowing him, he probably already told her. So, she basically makes her, announcing herself there, and some things will go on. But with Kami and Shimigami, they basically already figure out basically the dungeon that Naruto should go into. But that should be basically later. So, a little bit of a time skip. I would say basically another month later, we would have Naruto basically, I would say in a tree, as Sasuke and Sakura are basically hiding. As everything would kind of go to canon from there. Okay, I need to try to finish this up a bit, so, because I need to get ready soon. So, as soon as it hits maybe like 52, I'm gonna be ending it, so yeah. Sorry guys, just work, but anyways. So yeah, so, they got Tora, and the bridge builders being introduced. But Naruto just says to, Gigi, or the Hokage, Hiruzen, they can have basically a better mission. Naruto's skills with the scythes has increased, and he even figured out he can basically transform into a bigger weapon, and he's been training that for a while, making his own style. For some reason, it seems that he basically likes to make quick attacks with unpredictability. It's like second nature to him. As the Shimigami, also has been looking for something for basically this time skip, which he has found it. So he's going to give it to Naruto soon. So, and, Kami's basically saying we should probably make those from now on instead of looking. And he just nods. So, yeah. So Naruto basically asked the Hokage for basically a secret mission, which Kakashi would be asked, do you think they're ready? Which Sakura has improved a lot. Due to the fact of her mother even confessing that she, I'm basically the boy who she liked when she was a kid, and hating, Kushina Uzumaki, and then even basically going on to how she hates Naruto because she knows for a fact that's basically her crush and rivals, or person who she hates as a kid, and another reason why she hates him, but she basically would just ask, though, the truth about Sasuke. Does he ever interact, ever show any caring? Which she would not know, and then she would ask about Naruto. She would admit that he was quite annoying at first, but after basically, be on the same team with him, and she would basically just ask Do if they can go to the Kage. In which they just blink and just nod. So they did went to the Kage's office, and she asked if she could tell basically that, the truth about the S-rank secret, which Hiruzen would basically, tell the Amu to leave and basically close the seal. Well, privacy and sound seal. As Hiruzen basically threw a kunai into basically near the bookshelf and killed the root ninja, which caused everyone to be shocked, including Sakura, as he goes, "Oh, Naruto told me about basically that. There's some people that come into my office that are not always welcome and taught me how to sense them. So, what do you basically want? So what do you want to basically tell them that you know? Everything?" In which he sighs and just nods. And she basically goes on to basically tell them how she knows about her real father is, and she's already been in contact with a Kane. And then she even knows about Naruto's secret. Which Sakura's mom saying, "Wait, are you not afraid of him then?" She goes, "I never told you how I knew. He..." Which, yes, her parents would nod and ask her to continue, and she goes, "Alright. So, I overheard Mizuki Sensei telling it to Naruto, and telling about there's a secret test, as when I was trying to get a little bit closer without being noticed, I couldn't hear very much for some reason. So, I only found out after he basically did the job that he was denied to a fox because Mizuki Sensei was trying to make him be afraid, which worked. But Iruka Sensei saves him. So, and then he acknowledged Naruto, which then she goes on to talk about the multi-shot clone jutsu, and basically even about Naruto's supposed death, and how he became basically something else, which was not the QB. In which basically that just shocks both her parents, which Miss Harno thinking basically must be a lie, but then Hiruzen says it is not a lie. He became something else. And there may be something that I do not know yet, because this has never happened. Which basically Sakura just nod, and she was just saying, and just says, she's not mad at you guys, by the way, Kane. She's just, well, she's just a little bit annoyed with both of you. She should be mad. She was for a while, but she got over it. Which both her parents actually just bowed their heads in shame. Her mother would just say, "So, you still don't care?" Which she goes, "Nope, don't care what he holds inside of him. It's not like he wanted to at birth. Besides, you may call him a demon, but, I mean, technically basically, bijus are just massive balls of chakra. Not basically a natural, not an actual demon. Think about it. If the demon was sealed away, doesn't that basically mean though it was technically a chakra entity that was sealed away instead of a demon?" Which the parents think about it and just kind of just like, oh. So yeah. So, not Naruto. So basically, after Sakura says that, Sakura will say, "Oh yeah, it sounds like your situation with me and Ino were the same." Which basically just caused her to be, that might be off guard. She goes, "Wait, what do you mean?" He goes, "Ino and me were entirely rivals, and we did anything to try to get Sasuke's attention. So," in which basically the mother would nod. So yeah. So basically, after I would say basically we go back to basically to the present, as Naruto basically would look at basically what Ruzen, as basically Kashi thinks about it, goes, "Well, have basically got them better at their teamwork, but two of them are better than the other. As basically Hiruzen would just nod. And then basically Sasuke would not even be paying attention because he hears he's going to get a secret mission. So, yeah. And basically Kakashi would then say, and besides, this would be a good learning experience. So, I said we can take it. As then basically Hiruzen bring the bridge builder. He basically insults them. Naruto just basically looks at him and just sighs and just says he doesn't really care. And I wish Kakashi would just tell him that could the same. The only difference is, I would say, though, when basically when it would be night, Naruto would, get a message. So, that's all I'm going to say. But, after basically Kakashi dismisses them, we do have Naruto basically heading home to basically get ready for tomorrow's mission. So, he does try basically to hedge into someone else and go get the groceries, and after he does get them, which surprisingly, it was, not much troubles, and basically the prices were actually reasonable. He kind of realized he should be doing this from now on, and, well, he gets home, puts his groceries away, make himself dinner, eats it, and then he's trying to figure out what he should do basically next, since he has a while until he needs to go to sleep. And all of a sudden, something basically Dust basically would call and say messages here, as Naruto's like, huh? As all of a sudden, green flames pop up on the table as it goes on for a little bit longer. The flames start to disappear, and a scroll is left there. And Naruto's just blinking, goes, huh? That's a nifty trick. And that's where we're going to leave it off, everyone. Sorry, I just do need to get ready for work. So, yeah. I'm probably going to make a part 4 soon. I don't know. But basically, though, it's been hot here and I've been having trouble sleeping lately. So, I'll be probably sleeping and then being still tired and have a hard time making videos. So, I'm going to try and make them over the weekend. But I get distracted over the weekend to do something, so yeah, sorry. I'll try to keep up on making videos. Bye, everyone. Have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.